Good evening out there. How you guys doing out there? This is Mike, and I wanted to come on tonight to have a discussion. And anybody that's out there that want to join in this discussion is welcome to join in. Just go into the chat and request the link, and I'll try to get the link to you. I think I could send it through your email, or I could put it in the chat, or we could do it like that. However, anybody that want to come on and do it, and join this discussion. And tonight, the discussion is going to be about relationships and the way my feelings about relationships and why the way I think, the way I think. All this prompted this morning. I put a post up this morning that said, and I'm gonna read it so I don't misquote, because I don't want somebody to say that's not what you said. I'm gonna read it off my phone, and it says, and the quote says, thought of the day. Ladies, please explain to me how is every ex-boyfriend or ex-husband labeled a narcissist? That's what the quote said. Explain to me how every ex-husband or ex-boyfriend is labeled a narcissist. So, I had a couple females that I knew. A couple of them, we was friends and stuff like that. Some I might have knew from growing up or things of that nature. And they said that it was triggering. So, we going back and forth typing things and things of that nature. So I wanted to come on and explain what was going on and give anybody out there the opportunity to come on and we can have a discussion as long as it's respectful and as long as we respect each other and let each other speak and things of that nature. We can have a discussion about relationships. And I'm not trying to get into this space and go down this road, but I post a lot of things that people feel is misogynistic, or I guess that's how you say the word, or this or that, or it's male centered, or this or that, or blah blah blah. So we're gonna have a discussion about that tonight, and we're gonna put everything on the table and talk about it. And like I said, anybody that want to come in, just go into the chat, say you want to come in, and we'll either get your email or we'll send you the link, and you could pop in and you could talk too. And so the reason I'm doing this is because I'm giving everybody the opportunity to come in and say their piece. Or moving forward, there's no reason for you to come on and post and saying I'm doing this, I'm doing that, when we could come on tonight and we could have a discussion and talk about it. So let's talk about the post that I put up. So when I said every, now I'm going to ask people a question. How many times in your life have you said every, but didn't really mean every person in the world? Because it's impossible for me to know how every person in the world feel about their ex-husband or their ex-boyfriend, how every woman in the world feels about that. That's impossible. You get what I'm saying? So I was basically talking about when I'm on social media and I see women talking about their ex-boyfriends or their ex-husbands, one of the first things that comes out their mouths is they call them a narcissist. They call them a narcissist. He was a narcissist. He was a narcissist. This how it was when I was in a relationship with a narcissist. So I took the time to read the definition of narcissist, and then I took the time to compare it to the female characteristics instead of the male characteristics. And a bunch of people got mad. Now, if you're not a person who ever called your ex-husband or your ex-boyfriend a narcissist, for one, you shouldn't be mad. And two, everybody use the word every all the time. And a lot of people don't feel no kind of way with it. How many times did you say, every time I'm in Miami, it's raining? Does that literally mean every day you in Miami is raining? No, that means you tired of it raining when you come to Miami. Like, come on, like let's not like play the word games in these kind of situations. Like, everybody when I wrote that knew what I meant. Of course, I don't know how every woman feels about their ex-husband or their ex-boyfriend. That's impossible for me to know that. So you had to assume and understand that I'm talking about every time I on social media and I hear a woman talk about her relationship, she calls her husband or her boyfriend a narcissist. That's just facts of the matter. You get what I'm saying? I didn't make it up. That's just what it is. But again, the chat is right there. If you want to come on and talk to me about some of my posts and how you feel about it, and we can have a discussion about it. And I want to be able to ask you some questions, and you could be able to ask me some questions. Now, when it comes to why I feel the way I feel about these things is because I was taught by a very special woman years ago. I remember being naive about the female species. Like, you know how Disney raised us up, and we always think that like the damsel in distress and things of that nature, and they can't do no wrong and they need to be protected, and they got to be pampered and this and that, and which is true. They're females. You have to water the plant. You have to do those kind of things. But the part of doing wrong is where things get a little hairy at, where it gets gray at. And I get it, because one disclaimer that I'm definitely going to say is this. It's not their fault. Society has nurtured in girls like that ever since they were young. You get what I'm saying? Like the more attractive ones, they never really had to be accountable for any of their actions. They never had to be accountable in relationships and things of that nature, because so many guys wanted to get with them. All they had to do was, if they was feeling some kind of way in a relationship, sabotage it and then get with somebody else. The next guy that's trying to get with her is not going to ask her what she did wrong in the last relationship. He's going to listen to her story about what the guy did wrong to her. And all he's thinking about is, I'm trying to get with her, so I ain't even trying to really worry about what she did because I don't want to mess this up. Then he get in a relationship with her, and then the same situation happens again. And then she just moves on to the next one. And then the same thing happens again. You know what I'm saying? Because most of the guys, they're not going to hold her accountable because she's beautiful. That's where pretty privilege comes from. You get what I'm saying? So when we dealing with this kind of situation, that lifestyle, that train of thought goes and goes and goes. So I think around when the COVID hit and the world stopped and everybody was in the house, that's when the social media, the YouTube and things of that nature started changing. Men started to speak out and talk about different things and really get stuff out of their chest. Everybody was sitting around. Then that's when the Kevin Samuels pop up and this and that. And I'm not trying to be like a Kevin Samuels or nothing like that, because I think like some of the things that he talked about, I didn't agree with. I didn't agree with his definition of a high value man or a high value woman. I didn't agree with that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't agree with the fornication part of him telling women that just because they have kids that they entitled to have to give it up to a man, and they not being married. They ain't have the right to say that a man needed to, that they could wait for a man to marry them if they wanted to turn their life around. I didn't agree with none of that. You know what I'm saying? But I did agree with him on the part of that, the way things were made up, that they never really had to take accountability for things. So it's uncomfortable when somebody makes you finally have to be accountable for what you're doing and what's going on. And I get that. It has to be very uncomfortable. You get what I'm saying? So you got to be able to understand that, and you got to be able to take that on the chin. If you want to have a real friend, if you want to get real help, if you want to get better, we got to be able to be accountable, man. You know what I'm saying? Like us men, we got to hold each other accountable, and we got to hold the women that we're with accountable, man. So I'm going back to the very special woman that bust my Disney bubble. She told me, she said, you know, you're very naive in terms of how women work and things of that nature. And she wasn't just talking to me, she took me to the Bible. And we went in the Bible, and she did a Bible study for me. She started telling me the scriptures. We went over the scriptures. She started taking me to the different books. She started explaining to me about how when a woman is not into God and things of that nature, how she is capable of moving. I'm not saying that every woman is going to do that, but she let me see things that I took for granted, things that I didn't even really realize. You get what I'm saying? And she made some interesting points. And it was like basically like the Bible warns men countless times about women. Like when you read through it, this is just the facts of the nature. I didn't write it. I just read it. You know what I'm saying? So I think that a lot of times men get trapped in the beauty and they easily fooled. And a lot of times some of the women get caught in not having to ever be accountable. And when somebody finally does it, it's so shocking and it's so uncomfortable that they get upset. And I can understand that. I get it. But I have friends that I talk to that's cool. And we had some uncomfortable conversations. And they listened to me. After they was mad, they listened to what I had to say. And they came back and told me, they said, you were right. And guess what? They moved on and had success. Because you know why? I'm the friend. I'm not going to be afraid to tell you like, yo, in this situation, you're wrong. Even if you're a female, like I'm not supposed to tell you that. You get what I'm saying? Like on one of the posts today, one of the females said, he doesn't know if he says every woman that he's talking about his wife and his mom and his sister and this and that. I'm not afraid to tell my sister or my wife or my mom or anybody if I feel they're wrong about something just because that they're a female. But I can understand why she would even say that, because the world has conditioned that men are not supposed to do that. But I'm not afraid to do that. You get what I'm saying? I would tell my sister, I would tell my wife, me and my mom relationship at that point, you get what I'm saying? If I feel like she's doing something like, oh, that's not right. But I get it. They're not conditioned to do that. You know what I'm saying? They're not conditioned for people to say like, you know what? This is how I understand. This is what's going on. You get what I'm saying? Let me see what she said. Let's see what she had to say. Everybody will probably side-eye me for this, but narcissist is the cool word for women, like accountable is the cool word for men. I say it loosely. I heard those words from somebody cool in the BS speech we kind of related to and ran with it from there. Thank you, sis. That's all I'm talking about. Some honesty. She just said it. She just said the same thing that I was talking about, man. That's it. That's all I'm saying. But I don't understand why people were so triggered from that post that I made and what I said. I didn't disrespect nobody, anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Because to my friends that ever will call me and ask for some real advice, I'm going to be straight up and tell them the truth. You know what I mean? I had a friend, super cool, always going to be cool. You know what I'm saying? Nobody never know her name or anything like that because I wouldn't do it like that. But she had a situation and she was talking about relationships. We had a long talk about relationships and this and that nature and things of that, whatever. So she had a couple kids and she was like, if a man can't accept me for who I am, blah, 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 blah. She was feeling herself in this and blah, blah, blah. And I kindly said to her, I said, you have 2 kids by 2 different guys. So we got to take some accountability there. She said, what you mean? I said, either you were guilty in these situations of messing up the relationships, or you didn't know how to pick a man. And when I said that, it startled her like, whoa, how you going to say that? And then I said, let's slow down and let's think about this. Wrong that she was in a relationship with, because of course I got to listen, because I got to know what kind of trauma she might be dealing with and what kind of trigger she might have. Soon as she got done, I said, now I have a very important question. What did you do wrong? And I could tell she wasn't used to nobody asking her that. You get what I'm saying? But it was important for me to ask her that, because I need to know what I'm dealing with and how I can help her get better. How I can help her get better as a mate. If she never is willing to tell her shortcomings, how do we grow in a relationship? But in most cases, if you are attractive, woman, you just say, like a couple weeks ago, I put every man, every ex-man is not a narcissist, and every situation is not overstimulating. Because all my students say that. I'm very overstimulated. That's the new thing. You're doing this, you're overstimulating me. So I said that is the thing, but as I go on social media, like it's like every relationship, when the person break up and they do a video, they say, he's a narcissist. Blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? So it's a shame that the society made it like that, where they put our women in that kind of situation. And now that since 2020, around that time, 2019, when everything started happening and men started talking and it became an uncomfortable situation. So now the men who wasn't able to talk for so many years, they on there, they talking, and now the women fighting back, and it's turning into the gender thing and this and blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, if you're comfortable with being who you are and you can stand in your truth, why do it matter to you? If you can really be accountable for your actions, about what you did in your relationships and about how you living, why are you worried about that? If you came on this live right now and we asked each other to be truthful about their relationships, can you do that? Can you say, yeah, I tore up that relationship. Like I was the reason that the guy left. I was the reason that this happened, that happened. No, most of the times you can't. And I get it, because you never had to be. I did an exercise with my students, right? We was in group. So I asked them, I said, I got teenagers from the age of like 13 to like 17, 18, you know what I'm saying? So, their hormones is they going around. They that same how we was, you know what I mean? They not allowed to get at each other in our program, but they're kids. So I asked them, how many of you guys been in relationships? You know what I mean? Like 80% of them raised their hands. So we go around the room and I asked them, I said, well, how many relationships you been in? They'll say like 5. And I say, how many of them worked out to be positive, you think? They'll say 2. So I remember that. Then we'll go around to the next person. They'll say 7 and maybe 2 worked out. Then I go to the next person here. They'll say 4 and maybe 1 worked out. So now we going around. So then I asked them, if less than half of your relationships worked out, raise your hand. Then they raised their hand and I told them, I don't think you need to be trying to get in relationships right now. It's obvious that you're not good at it. That's where we got to be honest about situations. Are we really good at picking a mate? But when you tell somebody that, they get upset. When you ask somebody, why are you attracted? Why you keep attracting the same kind of man? You keep talking about how the men are or this or the men or that or blah, 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 blah. Why you keep attracting the same kind of man? I had to be honest with myself. Why do I attract these kind of women? Then I had to understand it's a spiritual aspect to it too. Familiar spirits connect with each other. So you was at the spot, you went in there, you saw somebody, y'all made eye contact. That night, y'all was doing what y'all do. You know what happened? When you first saw that person, those familiar spirits got attracted to each other. That's why y'all was doing what y'all was doing. Then you end up in a relationship and then it go haywire and you like, how did this happen? You never even took the time to get to know somebody. But we got to be accountable for what we doing. You got to. That's the only way you get better. I had another friend. She was about to get married, and I was like, listen, I'm tired of you being in these relationships and you messing them up. You start off, you be all cool, then you call me like a year later, 8 months later, this happened. What part are you playing in these messed up relationships. What do you mean? Don't think about him. I want you to concentrate on what you're doing wrong in the relationships. Why? Because you're about to get married and you need to make sure that you fix what you have going on within yourself, so you don't take that to the next person and mess this marriage up. I can't believe you're saying this to me. You know how it is when they're emotional, this and this, blah, blah. I'm just telling you this because I don't want to get that phone call again a year later. She's married now. You know what I'm saying? Doing good. And she said, thank you. I'm happy that you talked to me like that and let me know I really took the time to work on myself. I know it's uncomfortable when somebody's telling you something that you don't really want to hear, but it can help you. But eventually it's like taking medicine. If a person care about you, they're going to tell you the truth. And I get it. You're uncomfortable with hearing it because you never had to. Never had to do it. Everything was given, especially if you cute. Everything was given to you. You could just make up a story. You could say, well, you know, he was just getting on my nerves. I didn't want to be with him no more. The next guy gonna be like, hey, he's a stupid man. I would never get on her nerves like that. Not understanding he's gonna go through it. I guarantee you, if people sat down and talked to Derek Fisher, he probably gonna have the same story that Matt Barnes had. I guarantee you, when Derek Fisher sat down with the chick that was with Matt Barnes, that was married to Matt Barnes, I guess, or his girlfriend, baby mom, or whatever she was, I guarantee you that Derek Fisher never asked her, what did she do wrong to Matt Barnes? Guarantee that he didn't ask her that. But now he finding out. You get what I'm saying? So I don't put all the blame on y'all. I pull it on the men too, because they go in blind. And the Bible says that once she catches you with her beauty, it's over. So I'm still waiting for some of my homegirls to pop on so we can have a discussion, because it seemed like they was going heavy with me about my post and this and blah, blah, blah. I'm here waiting right now. They could come on and we could talk about this. I'm willing to listen to anybody got to say. If you want the text, you want the link, just say it in the chat and I'll send the link and you could come on and we could talk. Because the real thing is this, right? When the females that know me in real life, that go through different things or things of that nature, that might have reached out to me in the inbox or anything for advice about life and this and that, they know who I am. They know that if we was cool for years, that I care. They know that I would never do anything to try to hurt none of them. They know all of that. So for the ones that just look at a post and be like, oh, he's this kind of way and this kind of way, you don't even know me, man. You don't even know me at all. You don't know me at all, man. At all. And it's kind of uncomfortable that I mean, it's kind of uncomfortable for you guys, but all I'm doing is trying to be a real friend and help you get to. I'm pro marriage. I'm pro biblical marriage. I'm pro. I be on the man too. I'm on session 6 on my series of talking to the men, telling the men what they got to do to get right, so we could be good leaders. I hate the way that society is setting everything up to try to break everybody up and have everybody single so they can make all the money that they want to make. I hate when I see that these pastors in these different churches is not pushing our women to want to get married because they want to keep taking money out their pockets. They want them to depend on them so they can keep juicing them for their money. I hate all of that. Because they know if you got a real husband, he gonna look at that man like he crazy, like, nah, get out of our pockets, bro. I hate all that kind of stuff, man. I hate the agendas that they push to try to set our women up, to pump them to be independent. Now they done put them in a situation where the rents is crazy and all this crazy stuff. And now they acting like they didn't cause this agenda. They didn't fill our women head up with all of that stuff, man. I hate all of that stuff. Sorry if people call me old school, old fashioned. And you know what's the real thing about it? You can't say I'm pointing a finger because I talk about myself and all my shortcomings. So it's not like that I'm telling people to be accountable, but I'm not accountable. I tell you all the stuff that I did. I tell you what my shortcomings was. I told you I was a terrible husband the other times that I was married. I tell people that, all that kind of stuff. Who is it? Let me see. There's somebody that's trying to come on. Oh, this my auntie. Hold on. Copy link. Hold up. Hold up. It's on the. Hey, auntie, go to my Pain for Purpose page on the thing, because for some reason it's not coming up on the Facebook link. The link on Facebook not coming up. Hold on. Or I'm gonna try to send it to your email and just come on there from there. Hold on. I just emailed you the link for you to come on, because for some reason I can't. It's not. I know. Hold on. Let me see. Yeah. Let me see. I'm trying to. For some reason, it won't let me put it on the Facebook one, but I sent it to your email. So when you pop in, then I'll let you come up, so we could have a discussion. There's the link right there. For anybody that wanted, they could go to my Pain for Purpose podcast page, and the link is right there in the chat thing, and you could pop on. So we can have a discussion, man. Have a discussion, because at the end of the day, like, we got to hold each other accountable, man. And if the person you with is not holding you accountable, then they not even the person that you need to be with, because that's how we get better, man. We get better by holding each other accountable. We get better. All right, I'm gonna try to hold on. I'm gonna try to send it to your phone. I'm gonna get it from the email and I'm gonna text it to your phone. Then see if you could come on that way. Cause I don't know if I'm gonna be still on in a half, because I got some other stuff to do. Hold on, I'm gonna get on the email, then I'm gonna take the link and send it to your phone. I just sent it to your phone. You could come through. Yeah, so I'm willing to take all of the talks and anything y'all want to do tonight, because when I put the post up, a lot be having something to say. So now today is the day that you could come on. Even if you don't want to show your face, you don't got to show your face. You could just keep the camera off and they just see a blank video and you could talk. But some conversations need to be had, because people be really acting like that. Oh, he don't never see nothing of man. Hold on. See if she can come on. You there?
Yeah, we both are here. We driving.
What up?
What's good? What's good with you?
Nah, auntie. I put up the post this morning, and I got some people that was in their feelings. So I said we should have I'm here to have a discussion with anybody want to have a discussion with the relationship stuff, man, because it seems like a thing of. And the only thing I said was that, ladies, tell me why like every ex-husband or ex-boyfriend is labeled a narcissist. So naturally, I'm not talking about every person who ever been in a relationship. I'm talking about when I'm on social media and women make these videos, they always calling a man a narcissist. When they break up with him, he's a narcissist. That's all I was talking about. You know what I mean? So then people got mad, offended. It was some people that I knew growing up. So now I'm like, come on, it's a thing, and we can have a conversation and talk about it.
Right. So let's first let's break down what is a narcissist, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because one thing I know,
like, you just take up for men, you do this, you do that. I'm like, nah, like, y'all just saying stuff just to say it. And when I looked on Google, it was talking about some of the characteristics. It was like praise, they looking for praise, they self-centered, and it was one more. So then I made some relations to how women do the same thing, and they really got mad. I'm like, but this is what it is. This is what the definition says. Now, I didn't know the clinical thing. You put me onto that, so that's even more information. You get what I'm saying? But the thing that I was talking about, and I even said that tonight, that it ain't really their fault, especially if you are an attractive woman. Most of your life, you never had to be accountable in relationships. Most people just gave you a pass because you look good. You go to the next relationship, you talk about what the other guy did. The next guy ain't gonna make you tell him what you did. He's gonna be like, oh, I ain't that guy. Da, 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 da. Then you get in a relationship, you get to the point to where you start feeling uncomfortable. He might try to make you accountable. My first wife that passed away. Both of y'all know my ex-wife, right?
Yes.
Yep.
None of y'all never heard me say anything about any of them in the wrong way. You know why? Because that don't get me better. Talking about their shortcomings and what they might have did wrong in a relationship, that's not going to help me grow. It's not. I got to worry about what I did wrong so I could get better. And that's the part where I'll be talking about that makes some people uncomfortable and they don't want to go down that road. So they just keep pointing the finger.
And there's two different types. Grandiose narcissism, which shows up as a loud pride, bold dominance, and pushy behavior. And vulnerable narcissism, which shows up as a deep shyness, quiet shame, and high touchiness when criticized. Yep.
So now that's kind of broad. Now the grandiose, everybody can't say they into that category because you got to be into a certain area, a certain status, a certain group to even feel like that. You get what I'm saying?
Think you in that group.
Think you're in that group. Exactly. So that's my point. When I was talking about it earlier, I'm like, listen, man, like, I don't really know, like most of the guys that I know that's married and stuff, right? I don't know that many guys that would be willing to say, all right, I'm not happy in this relationship. I'm about to leave my family because I'm not happy. But I'm not going to lie. I would see that females, when I look at these videos and stuff, it's more likely that a female will say, my happiness comes first. I will leave my family, break up my husband and wife. Not her leaving the husband with the kids, but break up their family if she feels she's not happy enough. And to me, I think that society has created it like that, and it's a shame. But if I bring something like that up, people say, that's crazy. How could you say something like that? But it's true. A guy is most likely not going to do that, man. You guys understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You get what I'm saying? And then you look around and you like, yo, why is this going on? But it's pushed because they want our women to be single. Because if our women single, different things come into the equation. One, they're gonna spend a lot of money because our women like the retail, what they say, retail shop when they feeling some kind of way, retail therapy. They're gonna be buying stuff, they're gonna be spending stuff. And like I said, pastors and different people like that, they're gonna be able to take advantage of them because they're emotional and things of that nature. So it benefits the economy for our women to be single. And then when it comes to the health part of the situation, they lick their chops when our women are in the hospital by themselves and they got to make decisions because they know they're emotional. Bro, when I was in the hospital with my wife and she had to go there to get some stuff done, you should have saw how first they looked mad surprised that she had a husband. And I'm sitting there and the doctor like, why are you looking at me like that? I said, because I'm trying to see what you're doing. I'm trying to make sure you're doing what you need to do. They're used to having our women there. They give them some kind of drugs or something. They ask them all these different questions, and then they got to make decisions and stuff like that, and they real emotional. So all of the benefits of trying to keep them single, it benefits everything except our family and our marriages, man. But
yeah,
when
I say this too, though, right?
Go ahead,
To be honest with you, there's no there's no guide to parenting, right? We sit there and when we grow up, we think that our parents, they know it all, or they just all our seeing person, but they just like us now, right? We don't know it all, right? We all trying to figure it out. Everybody's still learning. Everybody's still
Facts.
making mistakes, right? And
Facts.
then on top of that, they definitely do not teach us what a healthy relationship is,
Facts.
right?
Facts.
So we learn about relationships from watching either our mother and father's relationships, or people that we grew up with and how they interact with each other. So we've never been taught exactly what a healthy relationship is. So if we watch television or we see social media and we see, different ways that people react with each other, we carry those things forward. And it takes a long.
Hello?
You hear me?
No, yeah, I broke up a little bit. What you
You
say?
heard me? Yeah,
I
you hear
said,
me?
I
I
said,
said, and it takes a long time for somebody to grow out of that toxicity.
yeah. I did a video the other day about trauma bonding, relationships, trauma bonding. Both of y'all done been through mad stuff, and y'all get together and y'all think y'all really into each other, but it's all trauma bonding, and y'all just going back and forth, and then you realize, I don't even like this chick. We just was trauma bonding, but you might have had 1 or 2 kids with her. Then you go to the next person, y'all trauma bonding. Then they just keep going and going, and nobody takes the time to say, you know what? I gotta go work on myself, man. Like something not right with what I'm dealing with. Something not right with how I interact with relationships. This thing triggers me. This goes wrong, that goes wrong, and then I'm ready to flee. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing. I'm still waiting for some a couple of these young ladies to pop on. So because I really want to have a discussion about some of the posts that they say I put. Like, you know what I mean? They say that I don't really go after guys. Some of the stuff I talk about, and I ain't gonna lie, I do try to help some of the men because a lot of them be stuck, bro. I know a lot of brothers that be struggling mentally because they in situations with child support, or they got divorced and this and that, and they can't have a voice because then the increase might come even more. You know what I'm saying? So since I don't got to deal with none of that, and I see some wrongdoing going, I will say something about it. So I am guilty of that. I will try to stick up for brothers because I know that they're suffering, and it always seems to be the brothers who really want to do the right thing, bro.
You know what I would like? And
Go ahead, sis.
This is what
Go
I
ahead,
told your
auntie.
uncle. I said, you know what I would want y'all to do? And I know the females ain't gonna care for what I'm about to say. But when the men are in court, all of y'all should like show up and be supportive. Be supportive. I hate when the females would be like, oh, he hit me, and then she going around, she stabbing herself up or whatever, and saying he the one who did it just for her to get him locked up or be in a DV shelter or whatever. So you're lying on this man, or he raped me, and that's not the true. And have now you messed this man's name up, his credit or whatever. Like, I can't stand that. So what I wanted to do is let's get a bill passed for locking their behinds up. Let you know how that feels. Even though mine's been charged. So with that being said, like maybe
the day you got to be really ready to be accountable to what you bring into it and what's your faults in it.
Right.
And that part is hard for people to do. Like that part is hard for people to do. Like when you really corner them and be like, listen, we're not going to spin this. We're not going to do this. These are the facts. Well, let's talk about these facts. Right. That's super uncomfortable. It was to the point to where, like in my class, I had some young lady students, teenagers, and I asked them, what goes through your mind as a young lady when you have to be accountable. And one of them was like, I hate that, Mr. Mike. She said, I hate to feel it. I hate being wrong. I don't never want to be wrong. So I'm always gonna try to figure out a way that I'm gonna be right, even if I'm wrong. It's his fault that I'm wrong. She's telling me all of this.
At least she know.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but I really wanted to know, like, what goes through, what makes you feel that uncomfortable? That like, what's the feeling? You get what I'm saying? But I had a friend right here. She's go ahead.
I must say, I'm reading this book from one of my little sisters. She's in a purple life, which is DV life. Who's a survivor now. She wrote this book, and this book is on point. So basically, we've been wrong in our DV relationships all the time. We never would do anything right. You know, why you want to leave me? You know, this is us. Why you want to leave me? What am I doing wrong? What? Wrong? What? To the point that dream would carry over into our adult life. So now it's like, nah, I ain't wrong. Now I'm defending myself because now I found my voice. But Lord and behold,
that's deep.
I'm not right. I'm hurting you. I'm hurting you as I've been hurt myself. So let me just apologize to my husband right now. Baby, I'm sorry.
I love it. I
apologize too. I apologize too. Because I will drag some shit.
Yeah, he will.
I know you will. But, I know you will.
He will. And I'm gonna stay 10 toes, down. And he's gonna stay 10 toes. But at the end of the day, and what you said about trauma bond, I recognize something that trauma attracts trauma because we are comfortable in that. We've been shitting on for so long, and that person been shitting on for so long. Now, when something come in our lives that's right, we don't know how to behave or understand that. We don't. So now what we do is continue. Nah, this ain't right. This person's not for me, or I'm gonna do something stupid for I could get her to react or him to react. So trauma people, toxic people are comfortable with one another because they comfortable, right? What am I saying? Baby?
That's what I said.
It's familiar.
It's familiar.
100%. 100%. And then it gets to the point to where if you get with somebody and they're demonstrating healthy relationships habits,
right?
It's boring to you.
It's boring.
You like, yeah, you like, yo, like this is like, I need that spice. No, you need to heal. You get what I'm saying? You need to heal. But the whole thing about it is that, like, when somebody giving you the advice for you to get better, you can't be like angry about it and run. And sometimes people do that. You be upset, but you still listening. And then that person will come back to you later like, oh, you was right. I was listening to what you were saying. Because especially if you cool with them and they're your friends, a lot of people don't really want the advice from people that's close to them because you don't want them to feel like that they had one over on you. A person to take that same advice from a stranger and run with it. But when it's somebody real close, they feel some kind of way like, that's my boy. He not supposed to be smarter than me. That's when your ego and pride get in the way. Where like the brothers I surround myself now, we correct each other, we help each other, we're willing to listen to that. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, but a lot of times, man, it's funny, like I'll be at the it was funny. So I was getting my hair cut by my barber. My barber dope too. You know what I mean? This and this. So it's funny. So I say, or even one of my nephews, right? I was talking to them about us being Israelites and this and blah, 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 right? They talking to me crazy, this and this, blah, blah, blah. Soon as Kanye said that, a couple years later, I get in the barber chair. Yo, man, I heard Kanye said the same thing you said. I'm like, so when I told you this, I was crazy. But when Kanye said to you, it's gospel. That's how we are as people.
Like, I go through it all the time. You know what? You have to. They say in recovery, you gotta leave them where they at. You gotta meet them where they at, and sometimes you gotta leave them. You gotta meet them, but if they don't accept it, you gotta leave them where they at.
But I'll tell you something, right? I'll tell you something. When I was where I was at, I took a 6-month class in mindfulness, right?
6 months?
They talked about 6 months class in mindfulness.
Yeah, that's deep. 6 months, a long time. Go ahead.
They was talking about being hardwired, right? Being hardwired into the things that that give us a response. Like when we talk about this toxicity, that's gonna create certain hormones that's gonna go off in your body when that toxicity comes forth. You're gonna get some type of responses. It's a biochemical response. Right? Now, the issue is that if you've been 35,
you get what I'm saying? I was damaged in the head, so it was something wrong with me. But I understand that, and I don't have no problem admitting that because I'm past that. I didn't grew from that point. I understand it, but you got to be willing to admit, like, yo, I was crazy, just thinking like that. You know what I'm saying? But what you just said was super deep. So I had my friend Miss Summers said that you can stick up for brothers without beating us down. I don't just by me telling the truth is not beating women down. All right, so the other day it's this chick named Love Dorsey. She like one of the realest ones that be doing what's her name. You get what I'm saying? So the other day she had a video that I posted. On her video, she said one of the biggest misconceptions in the world is that the mother is this darling and the mother does no wrong. And she said the mother raises the child, alienates the child away from the father, tells the child that I'm this. So I post a video like this coming from another woman, and I'm wrong for that. All I did was tell the truth. But the funny part is when I post a video talking about the stuff men do, I don't ever get the same thing like saying, that's good that you said that. They don't notice none of that. I guess it's the algorithms that only send them the stuff I post about women. I guess. I don't know. But I just be trying to tell the truth about what be going on. So honestly, so they'll want to become more accountable. And our brothers could understand that it's somebody speaking for them. But I also do lessons and everything telling our brothers they need to be accountable. Because I'm tired of being at my job and kids crying about their fathers not being in their life. But I also let them know, like, yo, make sure you get your dad's side of the story, too. I always tell kids that. Make sure you get your dad's side of the story before you make this decision. But I do see that need for the father to be involved in the kid's life. And it's a tough situation, man. You know what I'm saying? It's a tough situation.
Oh, I hate that with a passion. With my daughter, father, he was like, I've been on your podcast, and I basically told you my daughter's father was the abuser, right? But I never stopped my child for seeing her dad. Never. I have not said anything like, "Oh, you're just like your dad." What the hell? Why would I say that? That's not. What do you mean by that? Like, I don't like that. That's very hurtful. Child support. Yeah, I did take him to child support. Hell yeah. You know why? Because at the end of the day, when she was growing up, she loved some sneakers and True Religion jeans.
I got a serious question for you, Auntie, that I want to know. How did it feel? When did it happen, and how did it feel to honestly look at yourself and say, throughout my life, why was I attracted to these kind of guys? And really have to deal with that about yourself.
Because what I saw at home, what I seen at home, right now, my family would get on me if I'm saying anything against the grain of my marriage. They feel that my marriage is and what we saw growing up is perfect compared to what we seen at home. And my mom, for her to be a strict parent, and I'm the oldest of her children. That's what I saw. Her being a very strict mom who's like hard on men, blah blah blah. And it's that I picked up. That's what I thought. I mean, I ran into the arms of my abuser because I was abused at home.
That's deep. That's deep. Another question. Sorry, I don't want this to be like when you was on the podcast. I'm just trying to get a woman's standpoint for anything. You deal with a lot of women with the phenomenal women and things of that nature. You get what I'm saying? Ones that be stuck in, I wouldn't say abusive, but relationships with guys that they know they have no business really being with. What's the percentage of them do you think would be actually scared to be with a guy that was God-fearing and successful?
I can't give you the percentage. But what I will say, I really don't know because everybody is different. Everybody wake up when they wake up. And then you have your environment. You have what you see on TV. All this is influencing bad behaviors. And then when you have a good man on your side, you will mess it up by cheating, or treating him like he's a dog in the street.
Do you think that's because of the not being familiar, or do you think it's the self-sabotage comes from a point of understanding that if I'm with somebody like this, I got to step up myself? So instead of me stepping up myself, I just get me somebody that I know is not really on my level, so I don't really got to change that much. But I could always let him know that I'm better than him. I be saying that a lot. I be seeing some successful women with guys that they don't got no business with.
Right.
And the trend is my character defects that I have going on, I really don't got to work on them and change. I could just always let him stay with me. I'm going to be paying for everything. He could drive my car, but I know where he's at. And I'm always able to complain about his behavior because in my mind, I'm better than him.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? But
it's all about control.
Yeah. You get what I'm saying? And I could always be the victim. You know what I'm talking? I could always be the victim. You know what I'm saying? I could always be the victim. So
American culture celebrates the bad boy.
I was talking to a brother last night.
Yeah.
What you think about this, bro? I was talking to this brother last night, right, from Baltimore. He came on last night. Deep. It was a deep conversation. He was locked up in all types of places, man, and he turned his life around in the feds. And we was talking about Tupac, because him being from Baltimore, and he told me that when he was young, he remembered the women being on the guys that had the thug mentality, right? And I told him I remember seeing a video when Tupac was down in Maryland at one of those performing arts schools. And he had like a real shy, almost feminine type voice. And he was saying that he didn't understand how dudes could talk to women and call them whores and this and that and call them the B word and this and that. They needed to have respect. And he was telling the girl that she needed to respect herself. But I think once he did Juice and he saw the attention that other person got from the women, he never wanted to go back to. He stayed in that character. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
that.
yeah, like I can be this person now. You know what I mean? So when you just said that America does that, it does. And then our women, some of them be attracted to that. And I get it, especially, yes, and especially if your father wasn't there, because you look at that as a form of protection or a form of this or that. You get what I'm saying? But then
I disagree.
Go ahead. All right. Correct me.
For me, right?
Okay.
This is my perspective.
Okay.
I didn't grow up with my dad. My dad passed away. But I knew for me, I deserve better. I want more in my life. And whatever else that I felt that Shanice needed, not nobody else, what I wanted. Yes, I was with toxic relationships, but I was like, yo, you stab me, I'm stabbing you back. Like, on the carpet. You know, that was my thing. But at the end of the day, if you feel that you're not worthy of, you're gonna continue to sit in the shiz naive. But once you start learning and understanding that you're better than, that's all you looking for now. However, you can't have no degree and act like you the shiz naive though. And I'm saying that to be, funny. You can't bring nothing to the table and think you're the shiz naive. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it is. Let me tell you something about your uncle. The reason why, it's a lot of reasons, but this reason right here, like you said with your wife, when I had a situation, we had a situation, and I was in the hospital, and that doctor was looking, he was right there, and I was like, I never had nobody do that for me.
Exactly.
And he was like, nah, I need to know what they doing, what they saying. And if he had to pull out his phone to look up whatever, he did it. Because at the end of the day, I believe he loved me. So with that being said, he ain't gonna let nobody do nothing wrong. That's when I was like, nah, this is the man for me. So if y'all ladies don't understand your worth, and you continue to be with somebody who's going to talk to you like a stray dog in the street, then you need to reevaluate yourself. And maybe you need therapy.
I learned that from my parents though, because anytime my father went to the hospital, my mother was right there. I'm talking about, she was not just visiting. She pulling up a cot. She not leaving that hospital.
My grandma don't be playing around, bro. She don't play around.
The only time that she wasn't allowed was during COVID, and he never came back.
He didn't come back. Yeah.
Man, I went to see my grandma when she was at the rehab, right?
Yeah.
My grandma ain't no joke. She was like, I gotta come in. She said, grandson, they gonna bring a female nurse in here. I said, you sure it's a female? She said, yeah, it's a female. I told them I only could have a female. Ain't no other man ever see me without my clothes but my husband. You know how my grandma is. She don't play around, bro.
Straight up.
She don't play at all, bro. She was like, oh, you know how she is. I tell people all the time, she's the most spiritual person I ever met in my life. Point blank, period. I never met somebody that's into God the way she is. Like that was just a whole nother different level, bro.
Right.
Nah, for real.
I love her.
Bro, I had to go to, last time I went to church with her, right? We left the church, the lady, Miss Carol, whatever the lady name is that collect the money. Miss, what's her name is? You know who I'm talking about, the lady that collect the money.
Snowden.
Oh, he's doing something with the car right now.
Tell him he definitely owed me a trip on my podcast. Definitely. I went through them tolls and the parking in New York. I hate New York parking and all that.
I know. Listen, let me tell you something. I
What
want
up?
to
What up? What
thank
up?
you so much.
Yeah, it was
I'm
dope. It
so
was dope.
sorry I missed you.
Nah, it's all good.
It was
It's
a
all
lot
good.
of work that my team
Yeah.
put behind this thing.
Yeah, that was dope. That was
But
dope. That was
now
dope.
I'm trying to get the woman. So I just put something up there today to try to
Uh-huh.
get the woman to come out and speak. So let's
Yeah,
keep
that's
this
dope.
going.
That's
Hmm.
dope. That's dope. That's dope. And I definitely want to get some of those brothers on my podcast, and
I
I got to
got
get
you.
my uncle on the podcast. You know what I mean?
No doubt. For
All
sure.
right. All
Okay.
right. All right. I
Peace.
love you
Love
guys. I
you.
love you guys.
Love you
Love you
too.
too. All right. Well, come on then. This one I'm asking you to come on here now. We can have a discussion. I'll send you the link. You can click on, put your camera on. We can sit here and have a discussion. They always want beef, but nothing. I'm about to get out of here and get ready to for work tomorrow and stuff like that. Most high willing. I see you guys when I get on the next podcast. I love you guys. I love all my brothers, my sisters out there. It's never no beef and nothing like that. I just strive for us to get better as a people and love each other and get to the next level. Everybody that know me